Hello my friends, today I have an absolutely fantastic deck that I can't wait to show you. It is something absolutely amazing. It is a deck that I found on MTG Goldfish by somebody named Madcap Experiments, and they were really cooking with this one. So if you watched my last video, you'll know that I messed around with the Bygone Colossus, a very sweet card. I built a budget red, mono red deck with this card, and honestly it kind of works pretty well. And I wanted to play more of this card, so I looked around the internet and I found this amazing artifact mono blue deck. This thing has a ton of stuff going on with it. We're going to go over the deck briefly and then jump into some games. But before we do that, if you like seeing these kind of videos or you like what I'm doing here, I would really appreciate it if you could continue to help me grow. Every day we get new subscribers trickling in. Hello to all of you. If you guys can continue helping me reach my goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers, I would be very, very thankful for that. All right, enough of that. Let's talk a little bit about what we got going on in this mono blue artifact deck. There are kind of three main things that are going on with it. And we'll start off with the Bygone Colossus synergies. So the Bygone Colossus, it is a 9/9 for 9. Very expensive, but it has Warp 3. And the reason we're playing this is because it has some great synergies with the rest of our deck. Number one, if we throw this in, we can station up some of our other cards. We are playing 4 copies of the Synthesizer Lab Ship 9+ to make this a 4/4 flying vigilance creature. So if we have this out on the battlefield, we throw out the Bygone Colossus on turn 3, we can immediately crew up, or not crew up, station up the lab ship and then start swinging in the air with a 4/4 vigilance. We are also playing 2 copies of the Titanic God Core Uthros, I guess, over here. This is the new artifact land. I can't remember what the original one was called. It's very powerful. You guys all know this. Tap blue, add blue for each artifact you control. So we're going to be spamming out artifacts on the board. If we activate this, it is station 12+, but we can get there pretty easily. Then we can start producing a ton of mana. Additionally, we can give our Bygone Colossus haste. We have 4 copies of Lava Spur Boots in the deck. It is a equip 1, but give creature +1/+0, haste, and ward 1. So you throw this out on turn 4, you equip up the Lava Spur Boots, and then you start attacking in. Additionally, and probably the coolest card in the deck, also from Edge of Eternities. This deck is playing a ton of Edge of Eternities stuff. Emissary Escort, a 0/4 for 2. So 0/4 for 2, pretty good blocker. If we throw this down on the field on turn 2, we can hold off a lot of our opponent's damage. Then this says this creature gets +X/+0, where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. You have this out on turn 2, you warp in a Bygone Colossus on turn 3, and you can attack in with a 9/4 Emissary Escort. Or let's say it's turn 4, you have this on the field, you also have your Lava Spur Boots on the field, while you throw out the Bygone Colossus. Suddenly you're attacking with a 9/4 and a 10/9. That's not bad in my book. To go a little bit further with our artifact synergies, we are playing some affinity creatures. Affinity for artifacts, if you're not familiar with what this mechanic is, a spell with affinity for artifacts costs 1 generic mana less to cast for each artifact you control. So the Memory Guardian and the Valkyrie Aerial Unit are quite expensive cards, 7 mana and 5 mana respectively. I think I said that right. If we have a bunch of artifacts on the field, they can get pretty cheap. The Memory Guardian can be 1 mana, and the Valkyrie Aerial Unit can be 7 mana. But if we get them out with the Emissary Escort on the field, it will be getting 5 damage or 7 damage if we have the Valkyrie Aerial Unit. So pretty cool little synergy with the Emissary Escort overall. Then we are playing a little bit more synergy with artifacts. We have 4 copies of the Zoetic Glyph. This thing, it's just cool. 3 mana, enchant artifact. Enchanted artifact is a golem creature with base power 5/4 in addition to its other types. And when this aura is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, discover 3. Discover lets you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. So there's not really a lot of downside. We have this on the field. If it gets removed, we can find an Emissary Escort or a Synthesizer Lab Ship or one of our 1 CMC artifacts. So overall, cool card. The really neat thing about this card is if you end up putting it on the Emissary Escort, it's still getting +X to the artifacts based on the artifacts that you control. So let's say we have a Colossus on the field, we throw this on it, suddenly it's going to be a 5/4 getting plus 9 damage for a total of 14 power. So things can get out of control very quickly. And then the card that maybe is ever so slightly questionable but very fun in my opinion, Leyline Axe. It is a 4 CMC artifact. So if this is on the field from the start, because it says if this card is in your opening hand, you may put it onto the battlefield at the start of the game. If we have this out, we play out an Emissary Escort on turn 2. Well, this is automatically going to be a 4/4. And then on turn 3, if we have 3 mana, we can equip it, putting the Emissary Escort up to a 5/5 double striking trampler. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. The last card to mention, I guess there are two, Mechanozoa. Cool. This has Warp. It's also a 6 CMC artifact robot jellyfish. When this enters tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls, it puts a stun counter on it. So it's a 5/5, no flying or anything. It should have flying. Look at that art. Anyways, it is going to stun something. It's going to allow us to maybe get in and, well, it is an artifact, so it will trigger our Emissary Escort for 6. So if we have to warp this out for 3, we can get in for 6 damage. And then I guess really the last card is the Nutrient Block. This is the prime target for our glyph. We put this onto the Nutrient Block. The Nutrient Block is now going to be a 5/4 indestructible artifact food. Cool. So that is the deck. You can see that there is a ton of moving parts in the deck, but there's also a tremendous amount of synergy. Overall, super fun to play and amazingly powerful. So hop into some games and see how this one performs. See you over there. All right, woke up a little early this morning, played a few games to get my juices going, and I gotta say, those early games went really well with the deck. Let's hope the curse of turning on the camera doesn't ruin things. Now this hand, unfortunately, we gotta throw it away. We do have our lands, but we don't have anything that we can really play early on. It's just not really gonna work out. This kind of hand is going to be a much better situation for us. I think we'll throw away one of the lab ships and then hope that we find one of our lands. Let's go out with the lab ship. I think you could argue for the Lava Spur Boots off the start to protect the Emissary Escort on turn 3, but this lab ship is very powerful. I didn't mention this in the intro. It does have a lesser ability. When you station it for 2 at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 other target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power 2/2 and gains flying. So lots of things going on there. The bad part about it is that this is a little bit weak here, right? Our Emissary Escort is only getting +1 power from the lab ship, and it's not really going to be very impactful. What is our opponent? Our opponent's doing the same thing as us? That's crazy. Okay, I think we're just going to load up the field with more escorts, kind of go towards doing something big. I will crew up the crew. I'm going to keep calling it crew. I will put the station on that and then get a 4/2 Emissary Escort. That's a little bit better than a 2/4. Man, this card is super impressive, isn't it? Synthesizer Lab Ship. Okay, we got a Slumbering Cerberus. It has Morbid, so at the beginning, attacking for 5. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died, untap it. Otherwise, it does not untap. And we have been striking out with our lands. But that's okay. We're still, excuse me. That's okay. We are still doing things. A little bit of a hiccup. Now, do I want to load up the whole Synthesizer Lab Ship? I think I kind of do. We'll make this bigger, and now we're still getting in for 11 damage. Our opponent really needs to do something. Even though we are stumbling on lands, look how aggressive this start is. I absolutely love Affinity. I have a friend who plays a ton of Affinity, big fan of it, and especially in something like Historic, you can really do some fun stuff with Affinity. Okay, well, that was a cute attack. I'll lose 3 life. And they're toast. We on 2 lands. Look how absolutely bonkers powerful that was. That was such a good performance. And that was on a mulligan on the play. On the play, always good, but you know, we were 1 card short and we still put quite a board out. This deck has felt so impressive to me, and it's definitely a real deck. It's something that's very cool. Ooh, this hand looks a little awkward. The thing is, if we hit one of our affinity cards, it can really pop off, but really, okay, we can draw. So the nutrient block does have the ability to sacrifice itself, gain 3 life. We can eat this delicious piece of whatever it is, and draw a card, because when it goes in the graveyard, we can draw a card. But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, this deck definitely feels really good, and it's just such a shame that you don't see a lot more or more creativity on the ladder. I think I'm going to continue trying to play decks. I have been messing around with a weapons manufacturing list for the last, it's been about a week. I've been kind of trying to figure out different ways that I can build that list. And it's been a struggle. The weapons manufacturing, as cool as it is, it's not the most powerful card that has ever been printed, to say the least, but it is neat. So I'm going to be trying to mess around with unique stuff more so than playing meta stuff. I'll throw out the odd meta video here and there. Hey, House of Secrets 92 though, looks like they're on a pretty cool landfall deck. Ooh, oh my goodness, we didn't hit anything. No affinity and no lands. I kind of feel like I have to crack this, as much as that sucks. Okay, let's get in for 1, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't have even gotten in for 1, because our opponent's going to be attacking us. Like, that was just a dumb attack. I think you probably... Oh my goodness. Okay. A little rough on the lands. Probably I kept a hand that was a little bit too hopeful. So they're being a lot less cool. I thought they were going to do stuff that was just focused on landfall pinging, but we got Tifa coming up. It is, I guess that's what you do. You have to play Tifa if you're playing landfall. Okay, we desperately need a land. Desperately need a lot of stuff, to be perfectly honest. The deck, hey, there it is. Showed up a turn late. I will accept it, I suppose, but would have been nice to see you earlier. Let's put out another Emissary Escort, and then probably the Synthesizer Lab. I can crew up, station up, but I don't think I will do that. I think I'm just going to sit here for a turn. There was something I was going to say, and it slipped my mind, and I'm sorry. That's a problem that I definitely have. I start speaking and then I get sidetracked with something different. Ooh, okay. So they have potentially 4 damage, which is not the craziest thing. This is, whenever a land or creature enters, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. I feel like they're getting double triggers. Well, why might they get double triggers? Am I just imagining things? No, okay, I am just imagining things. So attack in with the Tifa. I'm fine. Block. Do they have Snakeskin Veil? If they have Snakeskin Veil, they have it. Okay, we get hit there. Scene of the Crime is an artifact land. It is also one of the questionable things in this deck, in my opinion. Let's just spam out a whole bunch of artifacts. I think my hope is that I top deck something that has affinity, but this Screaming Nemesis is really going to be a big problem for me. If we end up hitting the Warp Boy, our Bygone Colossus, okay. Hold up. I don't really like blocking on the Screaming Nemesis because then it kills our Emissary Escort. I think it's just this is just a game over situation, isn't it? That's okay. That's okay. Very cool to see the opponent using Sabotenders. I mean, if I block, well, let's go down to 1. We die to a land. Hey, look who it is. Look who showed up. Unfortunately, a little bit too late. So we'll do that, and yeah, that's good. That's fine. Our deck stumbled. It's not the fault of the deck. I think it's the fault of me not mulliganing away a hand that had just a bunch of 1-drops in it, hoping to make something happen. Okay, no more overconfident keeps. We got to mulligan a little bit better than that so we don't get ourselves stuck in any more nonsensical situations like that. Well, this is an easy mulligan at the very least. And we do have the ley line, though. Part of me wants to keep it. I know it's insane, because if I peel a land off the top, this hand goes kind of... if I peel two, we throw it away. Okay, this looks a wee bit better. So, are we getting rid of the boots, or are we getting rid of the glyph? Let's get rid of the glyph. We'll put that onto the field and see what the opponent is up to. A couple of videos ago that went out, it was the Doorkeeper Thrall deck, and yeah, so there was a lot of interest in that Thrall card. People seem to be a little interested in the idea behind it. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite perform as well as I had hoped it would. But I think there is potential with the deck there. The problem is it's just so anti-synergistic with what you want to be doing. Kind of makes things a little bit difficult. But yeah, there's so many cool cards. I see people, I love to see more comments. Some of you guys brought some really interesting comments. Talking about cards that are like niche cards that are really interesting and definitely playable, but people don't really play them. I can't. Okay, this card. Speaking of not exactly a niche card, but powerful. Am I just loading up the Emissary Escort and smacking in for 10 damage and hoping that they don't have any kind of interaction, or am I... Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. That's what I came here to do. 10 damage. We're just Rochambeauing. Remember Rochambeauing? We're just gonna keep kicking each other. Opponent's got to do something. I'm sure they're playing Azorius. They have some kind of interaction that is gonna ruin our day. They opt to just hang back, so they must have some kind of bounce or something of the sort. So let's attack. They block. They might have... What? That's crazy, bro. I did not expect that. Okay, let's put out the nutrient block. Maybe they just have counter magic? You know what? Let's equip up the Emissary Escort. I missed 2 damage, but I really did not expect them to sit here and do nothing. I'm going to put out the other Lava Spur. And maybe equip up the Lava Spur onto the Emissary Escort. Oh, so they were just holding up counters magic. So here's what they have to do. They have to remove this. It has Ward 1. And they have to stop my Zoetic Glyph on the following turn, going on the Nutrient block and just doming them for 5. Okay, I think we got there. That's sweet. Love beating an Azorius something deck. Although this... makeup of this Azorius deck is a little bit different, seeing the Overlord of the Flood Pits, a cool little thing there. All right, we're back at it. Again, that game 2. If I could redo that game 2, I feel bad about that one. Keep rolling with this deck. Unfortunately, the Bygone Colossus hiding, always hiding in these decks. Whenever I hit the record button, maybe he's a shy fella and doesn't like showing his big, beautiful face. This might be a game where we get to see the Emissary Escorts getting a little bit of value from the Valkyrie aerial unit, a Final Fantasy card that probably has seen 0 play, but it's cool. It looks awesome. Very reminiscent. I don't know what this enemy's from, but it looks like it's a Final Fantasy VII. Oh, it is Final Fantasy VII, and it looks like it's from Midgard right off the start of the game. So we hit our Titanic God Core, might end up crewing that up at some point. I didn't see what they did. I'm sitting here too busy rambling, and I didn't see where their scry went. Okay, Knight of Grace. Oh, my opponent is a cool boy. So, I think I'm just going to put out the Emissary Escort, pump it up to a 2/4, attack in for 2, 2/4. Do you say 2/4 from where you're from? 2/4 in Canada, 24 case of beer. I don't know if people still say 2/4 in Canada. It's been too long since I've talked to people about drinking alcohol. Maybe people can't afford 2/4s anymore, and it has taken on a different name. All right, so we're gonna slam in for a ton of damage this turn. We get to put out our nutrient block. It reduces the Valkyrie unit, aerial unit by 1 because of the affinity, and now we have 7 4s. We hit 2 lands. We don't want either of these lands. And it's time to jam. I could fully station up this thing, but there's no reason to do that. We'll hit it for 5. They're not doing anything, and it's possible next turn that we could activate this just with the Emissary Escort. So Valkyrie aerial unit plus a turn of this is going to give us the mana here. Maybe last turn you could make the argument to get this online right away, so you have a ton of mana, but I think we need to end this game before they board wipe. That's not going to save them. That's also not going to save them. So we have to get rid of the Emissary Escort, and we get another... Do we get a win? We get a win. We get a win. That's cool. Again, this deck really, really, really puts out a lot of power unexpectedly. There it is. That's 3-1. Let's keep this train going. Oh, man. I'm going to keep harping on game 2. I think I lost that one, not the deck. Game number 5. These are flying by, which is nice because if I can get these all done and recorded, I can get out for a walk. Okay, this is our first time without our 0/4, but we do have a Leyline Axe, we do have the Nutrient Block, and we have the Zoetic Glyph. Am I saying that right? Zoetic? Why not? Okie doke. Not a whole lot to do here. We get to just say hello to the opponent and throw out a Lava Spur Boot. Now, the opponent doesn't have any kind of interaction, so we make a 5/4. It is indestructible. That's gotta suck. And next turn we can, if we hit a land, we if we hit a land, we could do the Lava Spur Boots plus the Leyline Axe and really go to town. And sometimes you just need a 5/4 indestructible Nutrient Block on turn 2. Imagine getting hit in the face with that. That would suck. Man, Madcap Experiment. Gotta shout that person out one more time. Oh, they were really coming up with something spicy with this one. We only have a Synthesizer play. We have the affinity cards, but we don't really have any way to get them lower, so I think I'm going to throw this one away. I learned my lesson in game 2. This looks a little bit better. We don't need the Bygone Colossus. I think we're going to, well, we're at the Mercy at the top of our deck. Uh-oh, we met our match. Our match is the card or the deck that thrives on no interaction, Landfall. Probably. It could also be the Teamer list, whatever it's called, the combo. But nope, we're going to get hit by Landfall. This one might be a little bit rough. But going back, yeah, Madcap Experiment really crafting a super fine, amazing deck here. And if you want to share any other decks that you've maybe personally crafted or have found on the internet, we do have the Discord. I've been mentioning it here and there. I've been trying to mention it near the end of the video. I think I want, if you're dedicated enough to watching these videos, you've made it, what, 25 minutes probably at this point in this video, and you're still sticking around. Maybe you're the kind of person that might want to join up on the Discord. So I'm going to try to mention it later in the videos rather than early in the videos. But it is there if you want to come in and share some of your deck list. That would be really cool. It would be nice to see some creativity. Okay, we are not doing well, to say the least. We might literally just be dead this turn. We have a 4/4 Ward 1 flyer, but that's not going to do very much. In fact, is there even any point to keeping it back on defense? Probably not. I think I just slam in. They have at least one more pump with the Terramorphic Expanse over here to put their Bristly Bill up to a 4/4 and the Chocobo up to a 5/6. I think we're just... yeah, we're real dead. This one, hey, wasn't our draw, and the opponent had a cool draw. I don't feel nearly as bad about this loss as I do game number 2. I think game number 2 was just a stupid keep. We'll suffer through this for a minute. Playing the Gruul version. I've still been meaning to try out the Gruul version. Did they miss lethal? Oh, they did. They missed lethal. You missed lethal. we put this on this. This is actually a pretty good blocker against the giant chocobo, but unfortunately, we'll just die on the crackback. Good enough. I'll trust that the opponent could attack it. That was game number 6. We are 4-2. We're gonna go one more. All right, let's see if we can end on a win against Boros Must Pay. Oh my goodness, this person. What did Boros do to you? Emissary Escort off the hop is the card that you really want to see. It is just such an insane card. And maybe this turn we can actually see the Bygone Colossus Lava Spur. I might try to force it. We'll see how the opponent plays out their stuff. But a little bit awkward. Again, Scene of the Crime. This is the card. We already have a tap land with the station land. Having a second tap land really makes me a little apprehensive. I just don't know how I feel about this card. It is cool that it is an artifact, but if the game goes late, yeah, you can draw a card. Do you really want to be in that position where you're sacrificing the Scene of the Crime? One thing I did kind of look into is maybe adding some ways of adding extra land draw to the deck, because really right now our only way of drawing cards is through the nutrient block. And a lot of the time, you probably don't really want to be sacrificing this. We'll keep this. I didn't notice that too. The nutrient block is so hard, it is indestructible, that this, I don't know, Hank Scorpio-esque laser is shooting through it and not doing anything. Okay, the opponent had to mulligan down to 5 on the play. Let's see if it works out for them. They have a Tranquil Cave, rather. No, it is a cove. Okay, we'll start off with the Lava Spur Boot. So I don't know what's going on in the opponent's deck over there. You don't really see the Tranquil Cove very often. A tap land to gain 1 life. And they have the Meticulous Archive. So they just might be on Azoria's control. Nope. They're doing some fun stuff. All right, we might have a fun game here. Might have a fun one here. We did hit our 3rd land. We hit our 4th land. We're hitting all the lands. The game is giving Boros Must Pay an opportunity to get back in this. I suppose if we draw 10 more lands, it doesn't matter that they mulligan down to 5. And Adventurers in. Clayfire Bricks. Okay, so maybe it is just the Star Cage deck, which our deck, not the best against synthesizer, artifact, Star Cage stuff. It actually, in fact, we're real bad against it. Am I going to be greedy? I think I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to put out the lab ship. I'm going to put out the nutrient block. I'm going to pray that they don't have the Star Cage. If they have a Star Cage, I think we're literally dead. Oh no, Stock Up. Stock Up loves to find Star Cage. No. One of these ice cream cones that this merchant is selling, if that's what that is, it's a Star Cage. There were probably 2 of them. Oh no. Oh no, guys. So, yeah, I think we just get in for a bunch of damage, right? Is that... No. I'm gonna hold. I'm going to do this. I'm gonna attack in for 3. Again, we're on the please don't draw your Star Cage plan. We'll crew up our station up, whatever you want to say. No Star Cage. No Ultima. Oh, no Split Up. No anything. Why? Why are you the way you are? Okay. Ooh. That's okay. That's not the worst card for us to draw. Okay. Let's go that way. Let's put this on to the nutrient block. Let's equip up the nutrient block and get in for 6 damage. Get in for 7 damage. Get in for 3 damage. So this is certainly not an Emissary Escort where it's getting the plus damage. That was just me being a dum-dum. Of course, it becomes a 5/4. It doesn't become a 2/2 in addition getting 5 damage. I learned something. It's okay. It's okay. The opponent, cool guy with the mill over there. So, I want to save the Bygone Colossus for a Wombo combo. I think I messed up again. Oh no, I'm cracking. I'm cracking under the pressure. I looked at the synthesizer ship and I thought, okay, I'm gonna crew it, but I think probably getting in for 3 damage would have been better. Equipping the Lava Spur boots onto the Memory Garden just would have been an overall better play. Day of Judgment, that's fine, right? Do something anemic. That's pretty anemic. Am I gonna draw with the Scene of the Crime? I do have the lands. Maybe? If I do that, well, that's kind of cool. It pays for itself. That puts me at 4 lands. Really, what am I gonna find? Nothing. Memory Guardian. Memory Guardian's okay. Actually, I think I like it better than other things. So let's see if we can bait something. Okay. I was kind of hoping that they would have something there, but it looks like they just don't have anything. Is this Xaxes? Don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. What? Oh my god, what a way to end. Doing some bonehead stuff over and over, but we get through. Dodging the Star Cage. And with the Colossus warp in, slam in. Unfortunately, our poor Emissary Escorts did not stay on the field to benefit from that, but okay, good. I'm so happy beating this mill deck. I got some gripes against the mill deck these days. All right, so currently on the computer, I've played 10 games with the deck, and it's currently 8-2. That's not bad, 80% win rate. I played a little bit on my phone as well, and the deck was performing well on my phone. I can't remember how the win rate on that one, but I was definitely up games. So yeah, there's something to this deck. I think the makeup of it is very cool, and pretty much everything in the deck is where you want it to be. I think the only 2 kind of cards that I think could be changed, possibly, Scene of the Crime. I think I like having the Titanic God Core. This shouldn't be, my face should be away from it. I like having at least 2 of these in the deck. It's a good way to station or use your creatures effectively. But the Scene of the Crime, I think coming in tapped is just a little bit awkward. It does tap for mana, and then you can use that mana to sacrifice itself. So it really only costs the land and then another land to draw a card. That's kind of cool. It is an artifact land, so it works with our affinity cards, such as this one. But I'm not sure. I think I'd like to run some games without the Scene of the Crime in here and just see if it's a little bit smoother. Then the Leyline Axe, although incredibly powerful, it might be a little bit of a win more card, because if we're already having, our Emissary Escort on the field and we're slamming in with an affinity creature, for 5, getting 5 extra damage or something bigger. We didn't see any of these cards, by the way. Mechana Zoa, not once. But still, the Leyline Axe, I think, is an area that could maybe be looked at. I like the card. Maybe I would keep playing it because I'm just such a big fan of this card personally. But I think that could be a thing. If you're looking to build this deck, you could probably save 4 rare wild cards and not put in the Leyline Axe. Otherwise, the deck is relatively budget friendly. You have only this card and this card that are absolutely necessary. I think you need to spend at least 8 rare cards getting the lab ship and the escort. There's no compromise there. But otherwise, all of these are uncommons or commons. And your lands, you don't really need the God Core. You could have it or you could not have it. You could have 1 copy or 2 copies or 0 copies, whatever you want to do. So in the end, actually, a pretty cool budget deck. Even with the Leyline Axes, 12 is not bad. A lot of decks are like 20, 25 rares. So overall, very cool. Deck performed way better than I expected. There's something real here. Try this one out, and if you do, please let me know down in the comments or join the Discord, and do both. Let me know in the Discord and let me know in the comments. I appreciate the interaction. Interaction's always good. It definitely helps the channel. So even if you've made it to this point and you don't have anything to say, just say hi down in the comments. I would really appreciate that. It only takes you 3 seconds to do that, and if you could also hit the like button and all that normal YouTube stuff. Like I said, really want to get some momentum into the channel. We're constantly growing. Things are going well. Cool people are coming in, lots of great comments, and all of that is going perfectly smoothly. Smooth sailing so far. Just help me maybe accelerate that smooth sailing a little bit. That's it for this one. Take care for now, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.